Alrighty, hey guys, Stan the Man here. Today's video is probably going to be a very good one. A lot of people like it and are excited. But as you know, NFL football, the season has started just a couple days ago from this video. So I figured what not better way to do than 10 wrestlers that used to play football. Now, I'll admit, I don't know a ton about football, so if I say some stuff wrong, I apologize. I don't really understand. I did do a lot of research though for this video, but yeah. So without any further ado, let's get right into this video. Okay, at number 10 we have Mojo Rawley. Now I know he hasn't been in WWE for quite a few years, but most of these guys aren't even with the company anymore. So he was a nose tackle out of the University of Maryland, and he eventually got his chance at the NFL in 2009 with the Green Bay Packers. He was cut like a week or two after in training camp, and that was it for that. Then he ended up becoming an analyst for the Arizona Cardinals, which they ended up giving him a tryout for the team too, which he also was unfortunately cut from. Up next, we have the big man Vader. Now, he did all sorts of stuff at football. He was invited to 3 All-Star games after his senior year campaign. He went to the Japan Bowl, Shrine Game, and the Hula Bowl. And ultimately, he was a third-round pick by the Rams in 1978 and 80th draft pick overall, which was pretty crazy. But his injuries ended up catching up to him on the Rams, and it ended up working out for him well because he became a very memorable, talked about WWE wrestler. Up next, we have Ron Simmons, who was probably one of the most successful players out of here. He was in the NFL, Canadian Football League, the USFL, played for Florida State University, played for the Cleveland Browns, the CFL's Ottawa Rough Riders, and the USFL's Tampa Bay. Pretty incredible, really, when you think about it. He was always in good shape, always did everything good, and even look at here, I believe he became the first black AWA champion, NWA, maybe even WCW, some promotion. So, it all ended up working out for him, really, in the end. It's pretty crazy that he was very successful in both different sports. Up next, we have JBL, who also did quite a bit as well. He was a 2-year starter on the offensive line and was named First Team All-Lone Star Conference as a junior and senior. He also signed with the Los Angeles Raiders as well and as an undrafted free agent, but unfortunately he was released in 1990 before the season started, and he played in the World League of American Football, starting in all 10 games in 91. But after that, he decided to switch ways and go to WWE. Up next, we have Bill Goldberg, who was taken in by the Falcons in the expansion draft. They were hoping that he could make an impact, but unfortunately, Goldberg had ripped his abdomen off his pelvis and had to get it reattached. And they ended up just putting him on a supplemental list for the Falcons, and ultimately just ended up letting him go afterwards. Up next, we have Baron Corbin. Now, he actually made a big name in college from Northwest Missouri State University. He was a starter junior year 2007 and went to straight 4 Division II national championships. He ended up going undrafted in 2009 to the Colts in April and released in September. Then shortly after, he joined the Cardinals practice team in 2009 of December, and he was also let go September of that year. And then finally, he signed a future contract with the Cardinals January 11th, and he was ultimately let go on September. So unfortunately, he had multiple tries, but he just couldn't get it. But, he made it in WWE and did a lot of stuff there, so ended up working out for the guy in the end. Up next, we have the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Now, unfortunately, Brock Lesnar's NFL career was kind of short but sweet. He decided to leave WWE in 2004, and he got a chance to play as a defensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings. And unfortunately, he went through the training camp and all that. He played a few preseason games, didn't end up getting drafted, but he also had a motorcycle accident where he broke his hand and his jaw, bruised his pelvis, and tore his groin. I saw a lot of stuff, too, that Brock Lesnar never played football in college, high school, anything, so he just wanted to try something new. You know, I give the guy credit for trying to do something totally different, but you know what? He came back to WWE in 2012, one of the most decorated champions in the industry, so it definitely ended up working out fine for him in the end anyways. At number 3, we have The Rock, who surprisingly was only in college football not very long. In 1991, he was on the Miami Hurricanes, which was one of the best college football teams in the entire world, still is. But unfortunately, he was the only freshman on his entire team, and it didn't take him very long. Final round of the 2 days, he ended up getting hurt and tearing his shoulder. After that, he ended up being a substitute player for the Hurricanes moving forward, and just never really recovered from that. But in 1995, he signed with the Calgary Stampeders of the Canadian Football League as a linebacker. But he was put on the roster, and unfortunately, he was cut 2 months after from the practice roster as well. But again, he's The Rock. He became one of the biggest people ever in the world, not even wrestling. At number 2, we have Pat McAfee, which he's probably the most successful on this list, of course. Played football at West Virginia University. Was an All-American honor and all-time leader in points, which is pretty impressive. He ended up being selected in the 7th round of the 2009 draft by the Indianapolis Colts and played 8 seasons before retiring in 2017. Very impressive. I mean, a lot of people even say Pat McAfee is an underrated kicker and is definitely one of the best. He definitely did a lot. Pat McAfee show is one of the most popular sports shows that I know of too, so he's still doing good. He's still commentating and doing stuff for NFL. I mean, dude, McAfee's the man, honestly. And last but not least, we have the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. He was a 3-year starter and first team All-ACC player at Georgia Tech, which was pretty impressive. Most notably, he got drafted to the Vikings, and he ended up getting released. That's when he found out he had leukemia, which was a big bummer. But after that, he did end up signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but within a couple weeks, he left the camp in 2007. And after being caught on the final day of camp with Jacksonville, he signed with the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the Canadian Football League in 2008. Where he was also ultimately released from there. But, you know, this worked out for him the most. Roman Reigns became the biggest star in the company of all time. You know, his cancer came back. He overcame that again. There's just not an obstacle that can stop this guy. He just will keep going. He'll never die. He'll keep fighting to get where he wants to be no matter what.